We're live and direct, baby. I'm mixing in Logic Pro, and I'm working on kind of a boom bap hip hop kind of thing. And I figured, why not go live and stream it as I'm working? You know what I'm saying? Because I know you guys like that, right? I hope you like it. If you do, let me know for sure. But yeah, let's go to Logic. I'm going to kind of break down where I'm at with the mix so far. And then we can kind of, answer any questions or whatever. But I'm gonna be working, and I'll try to explain stuff as much as possible. But here we go. Here is the track, and I'll tell you about some of the issues as well. Like, there's different issues that I've kind of come across in this track that I just have to work with. My hands are tied on a lot of things, and that happens a lot with mixing. But as you can see, there's only 20 tracks, so it's very, very sparse. And, with boom bap hip hop, like, you really don't need much. You don't need 150 tracks worth of stuff. But let's play it real quick.
Top notch, top shelf, baby, yeah, this is top tier. What do we have here? Maldives, crystal clear. Shift the next level and switch gears. Walk the valley of shadow depth, it's no fear. Always in cuts, homicide, yeah, as it appears. Product of my environment, still had some good years. The judge hand me the time, I had to lay it down, somebody wipe my mama's tears. Listen, temporary on ice, the comeback is twice as nice. Not consistent, it takes grind and sacrifice. Listen, the currency is good advice. Hey, let's end the speculation. Come on, this is truth, we never been waiting. No time to be wasting. Know the rules of this game. Like some get hanged, and they to try to cross me. Face that demise, man, get slain nicely, precisely, striking like lightning, feeling mighty.
All right, so there's some hook vocals in here as well that I'm going to be bringing in. And sorry, my camera is like acting like it's on crack or something. If you just joined, say what's up in the chat. And if you guys have any questions along the way, just let me know. But I'm going to kind of break down just kind of where this is at. And, it's come a long way already, honestly. But I kind of bring this, I build this from like the drums up. So I'll do like drums and bass. And I kind of started there. So this is drums and bass here. All right, so what I got for the stems here, I have a snare. These are kind of like snares on their own. You can see they're kind of stacked up with the loop, and there's kind of a drum loop, and I think the producer probably just added additional kick drum pattern and stuff. But one thing I noticed about this when I got it, and this happens a lot with hip hop, is everything's clipped out, right? So it's very clipped. Even this kick drum, you could just see it's completely clipped. The vocals are completely clipped, right? And at first I was like, oh man, I can't work with this. But the truth is, you kind of have to work with some stuff like this when it happens. Sometimes you just have to kind of roll with what the client gave you. Getting them to re-record something or redo it could completely change the vibe of the record. So you can see all the vocals are completely clipped out, right? And it's not really super bad clipping, like it's pretty musical clipping. So a lot of the times for this kind of style, I can work with it. But typically what I would do is I'd go to my first gain structure here, and I just kind of take it down a couple dB just so I have some headroom to hit some plugins. But either way, I'm not going to be able to get those transients back. It's already clipped. So for example, like I'm just going to bypass all the plugins I have on the vocal here, and you could just hear kind of what I'm working with.
Listen, top notch, top shelf, baby, yeah, this is top tier. What do we have here? Maldives, crystal clear. Shift.
Right, they sound pretty rough and raw, but to me, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the vibe of the record. You know what I'm saying? So if the vibe of the record's there, then cool, let's work with it, right? So I have a little 1176, which is just going to kind of give it some compression, and the compression will kind of saturate it even more, so it's a little bit more musical with the clipping. Sometimes you think, oh, I need to get rid of the distortion. I don't think that way. After doing this for 20 plus years, I usually think like, how do I hug it and glue it and just make it sound like it was on purpose? So here's 1176 on vocal.
Top notch, top shelf, baby, yeah, this is top tier. What do we have here? Maldives crystal clear. Shift the next level and switch gears. Walk.
And you know, it's funny. I'm like A-Bing this and I'm thinking to myself, all those fucking annoying people online that are always, is it gain matched? Is it gain matched? Is it gain matched? It's like, in this case, the 1176 is taking it down in volume. So no, it is not gain matched. All right. You just have to use your ears and you'll figure it out, right? But here we go. So here's the Pro Q4. Taking out some of this 355 area, giving it a little more body, and then pushing up the 971, which I find sounds really good with like full fatness mid-range, right? So this is just the compression and EQ. Very basic.
Walk the valley of shadow death, it's no fear. Always a cuts homicide, yeah, as it appears. Product of my environment, still had some good years. The judge hand me the time.
All right, and then we got a little de-essing just to take care of some of the sibilants there. And this is the de-esser I'm using, right? It's very simple. And then the stuff you probably want to know more about, we have the vocal mix bus, which has this FG stress, which is just basically a distressor. I really like the distortion 2 mode on this. I always have on a distressor. And this has the high pass filter. And I'll probably do like, 3 to 7 dB of compression, but this is actually in parallel, so you can see the mix is here. So here's just EQ and compression on the lead vocal.
Time I had to lay it down, somebody wipe my mama's tears. Listen, temporary on ice, the comeback is twice as nice, consistent.
And that sounds crazy soloed out. The reason it sounds crazy soloed out is because we're also going through a master bus, right? So that master bus is here. On my master augs, I have the SSL native bus compressor. So this is like a G series comp. And I like this on boom bap stuff because it's punchy and it doesn't add too much color, right? It's warm, it adds some glue, but it's not like super distortion or additional harmonics or anything. It's really just, it does add harmonics, but it's kind of smoother, right? And then I have the Pro Q4, just taking a little bit down at that 680, and then the God Particle finishing it off. Okay, and I'll be kind of mixing into this chain here. It's a very basic chain. And then I'll add things if I need to on the master bus. But I like to set up those things on the master bus. So without those, just the vocal.
It takes grind and sacrifice. Listen, the currency is good advice. Hey, let's end the speculation. This is
right, and soloing something out is really kind of not how I would ever deal with anything like this, right? So before I even bring in the vocals, I bring in all this, okay? So with a beat, like typically I'm going to bring in drums, I'm going to bring in bass. This has a sub bass on it, and I'm using this new plugin that I'm messing with. It's called Chakra. And this is actually pretty cool. It adds a really cool harmonic to the sub bass, which allows it to, this is not what it's probably made for. I'm just using it for this because I wanted to test it on sub. So this is basically just going to help it cut through on smaller speakers, ear pods, stuff like that, right? So here's the sub, just so you can hear it without the Chakra. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Like switching the plugins around. Oopsie. So Chakra, and then the Pro Q4 doing some shaping. This is like pre-mix stuff. It's really just kind of like shaping stuff. Okay, so let's listen just the sub here. All right, very basic, right? It's just boom, and then it's playing along with the notes. So it's kind of accentuating things. And then here's with Chakra and the Pro Q4 on. And that's like the exact kind of harmonic I want to hear in a sub. I don't want to hear too much top stuff, and I don't want to hear it like overly folding back on itself, but I do want it to give me some of those upper harmonics. And you could see those on the Pro Q4 when we bypass Chakra in and out here. So that's a really cool plugin, and just really allows that 808 to be like, if you're playing it off a phone, the phone speakers, you're going to still hear that note. You're going to hear the buzz, Instead, obviously you're not going to hear the like the big low stuff, but that's not the idea. The idea is that you play it on big speakers, you hear the low stuff, you hear the high stuff, everything in between, and then you play it on small speakers and you still hear the note of the sub. And then this bass is pretty cool. I actually really liked it. It's really smooth, but I also added chakra to that just to give it a little bit more. And look, I got it on max, like this knob, I got it on max. I don't necessarily know much about this plugin. I'm just kind of messing with it right now. But yeah, I got the total harmonic distortion up, and then I got the Pro Q4 on the bass, and then I have an 1176. And this is the anniversary edition at 4:1. So So pretty cool. And I want this, I think, to sound like it's coming off an MPC and someone sampled it. And, you know, when I made beats on MPCs and like J Dilla style kind of stuff, I would always like, you'd find like the bass from a record, like you'd find a cool bass loop or whatever, and it would be with a bunch of other instruments, and then you would just like filter all that out so you can get that bass line. And that's kind of what I'm trying to mimic on this bass here, okay? So that's bass, drums, and then we have this guitar, which I thought sounded really cool. And then I just have Pro Q4 kind of pushing the 500 into the sides of the guitar, dipping the middle of the 1100, which is where the vocal is going to sit, and then taking a little bit of the top sparkle down. And here's what the guitar sounds like.
Click, shift the next level and switch gears.
And you can hear that bass line is in that full guitar sample, right? So it's like everything together. So I'm trying to filter that out and make sure that it's just the guitar and the strings, okay? So there's some really pretty strings in there as well in that sample. But if I take this out, what ends up happening is you have this bass and this guitar, and they just turn into kind of a big muddy mess, you know? So it gives a little more definition on the low end, allows more stuff to happen with the kick drum, the sub, and the bass on the bottom. And then we're just going to focus on the guitar kind of finger style picking. And then there's some strings that come in as well in this sample. And then there's this sample here, which with these kind of beats, you have to make dimension. I like making dimension with the beat. So this kind of voice, it's got like a vocal, like a chop in there. What I did was just a little bit of EQ, true verb, tucked it back with early reflections, and then the H910 for kind of like a wavy chorusing on the sides. So here's with and without. This is really a big difference, I think, and it adds just so much dimension to the track. So here's without it. It's kind of flat. Everything's up front. Everything's two-dimensional, right? And I don't really like that. I want the vocal up front. So now I'm going to turn these on, and here's what we get. Really cool way to just kind of stack things, right? As they go from front to back. And now we have room for the vocal to come up front and the drums to come up front. So you know, it's really about it's about the genre. You know, when you're mixing this kind of genre, it's like you have to figure out what is the most important thing up front, and then what needs to be in the back and the sides, and kind of like build dimension in the mix. And everything else is just kind of secondary, right? So the drums, obviously, are very important in hip hop. Drums and bass. 808, drums, whatever, and then the vocal, right? So the vocal, you're saying some shit. So now let's pop it all in.
Top notch, top shelf, baby, yeah, this is top tier. What do we have here? Maldives, crystal clear. Shift the next level and switch gears. Walk the valley of shadow depth, it's no fear. Always in cuts, homicide, yeah, as it appears. Product of my environment, still had some good years. The judge handed me the time, I had to lay it down, somebody wipe my mama's tears. Listen, temporary on ice, the comeback is twice as nice. Not consistent, it takes grind to sacrifice.
All right, now we have some cool dimension going on, but the vocal is the most important, kick and snare, and then bass, obviously, and then everything else is just kind of like dancing around it. And that's really what I wanted to build as I'm kind of doing a track like this, mixing a track like this. Yo, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I always appreciate the love, you know. The hate is cool too, whatever. I don't mind it. Sometimes it wears on me, you know, when I get all these like comments about, you know, oh, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're talking about and all this shit. I mean, honestly, I'm just trying to help when I make content. But you know, not everybody sees it that way. But I appreciate that, man. That's very nice. I'm trying to do more live streams, trying to help a little bit more. So, you know, if you guys got any questions as we're working, just drop them in the chat. All right. So now let's kind of talk about the vocals, right? Because the vocals are kind of the most important thing, right? So right now, the vocals, I have them dry, right? But I've built 3 sends here. Okay, I'm going to turn on all the sends, and we're going to listen to these vocals now wet in the mix.
Top notch, top shelf, baby, yeah, this is top tier. What do we have here? Maldives, crystal clear. Shift the next level and switch gears. Walk the valley of shadow depth, it's no fear. Always in cuts, homicide, yeah, as it appears. Product of my environment, still had some good years. The judge handed me the time, I had to lay it down, somebody wipe my mama's tears. Listen, temporary on ice, the comeback is twice as nice. Not consistent, it takes grind to sacrifice. Listen, the currency is good advice. Hey, listen to speculation. Come on, it's the truth, we never been waiting. No time to be wasting. Know the rules of this game. Like some get.
All right, so now you kind of see what's going on, right? It's like everything kind of opens up. You know what I'm saying? So you get the dimension, you get the front to back, you get the space around the vocal, right? That's kind of what's going on here. So I really want you to kind of like understand. With rap vocals, you know, you could keep them dry, but they can still have like the front to back space. They can still have dimension and not feel congested. And even with long reverbs. And I think that's something that a lot of people miss, right? They're like, oh no, you need a short reverb and you got to time your reverb perfectly and all this stuff, right? And I just don't think that's necessarily the case. Like, here's an example. So bus 13 here, I have just a widening. You know, this is going to widen out and thicken the vocals in the center. But bus 14 is an altiverb, okay? And this altiverb is a Wendy Carlos EMT 140, okay? So this is a very long reverb. And it's creating the sense of space around the vocal that's going to just hang and linger. So, for example, this is a 4.3 second reverb. Now, I'm just going to kind of play this and then let you, or I'll solo it actually, because you can do that pretty easily in Logic. So here's just the Wendy Carlos 140 plate. That is a long ass dark reverb, right? So without it, it kind of just gets too small and feels a little amateur to me. But with it, you have this like sense of space and dimension that's around it, right? So check it out. I'm just going to pop this in and out of and I'll show you the second reverb I have as well, which is a little bit shorter. But I'm going to pop the plate in and out.
Top notch, top shelf, baby, yeah, this is top tier. What do we have here? Maldives, crystal clear. Shift the next level and switch gears. Walk the valley of shadow depth, it's no fear. Always in cuts, homicide, yeah, as it appears. Product of my environment, still had some good years. The judge handed me the time, I had to lay it down, somebody wipe my mama's tears. Listen, temporary on.
It's really interesting what that does. It adds a lot of dimension to the mix. And it doesn't need to be heard. I think that's a big thing that maybe people don't get sometimes about mixing is not everything needs to be heard, right? You don't need to hear that reverb. You don't need to hear that delay all the time. You don't need to hear all these spatial effects and hear everything, right? Sometimes it's like dimension and depth happens when you feel this space that's happening, and you're not really hearing it. You're just sensing the space. Just like if you walk into a room that is really big, you kind of sense the space around you. That's just what your ear does. You don't have to like go echo, hey, hey, and make all this noise. You could just be talking and you can kind of sense the space around you. So I think that that's really cool for that sort of thing. And I always love a long reverb on a rap vocal. I've just been using that for years. And then here's another one, which I really like, is the EMT 250. And this is just a short reverb, but it's really, really musical sounding and kind of analog and warm. But this is really short, so check this out. I'm just going to solo this out so you can hear it.
Top notch, top shelf, baby, this is top tier. What do we have here? Maldives, crystal clear. Shift the next level and switch gears. Walk the valley of shadow, depth, it's no fear. Always in cuts, homicide, yeah, as it appears.
Right, we get a lot of dimension and depth out of that. So that's really fun. And so like blending a long reverb with a short reverb is just something I love doing. I think it's like super necessary. I think it's always, yeah, you want to play around with it. You know, you want to find that sense of space for you. But I don't know, like amateur rap mixes, vocals, they always sound like overly processed to me, you know? And this vocal's clipped out. I get it. It's like, doesn't sound really professional, but it has the feeling that you want out of this vocal, especially for what he's talking about and how he's rapping. But yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, I try not to, man. It's tough. Like, yeah, when you're out here just trying to, you know, do stuff in music and share stuff, it's like everyone wants to put you down. It's weird. I feel like the music industry, not even the industry, just like music in general, is kind of like the music, people in music eat their own, you know? They're like always wanting something instantaneous that just will never be instantaneous, you know? That's why AI music is like so popular with so many people that are wannabes. It's like they want instantaneous. They don't want to work. They don't want to learn the skills and do all this stuff. They just want to like, you know, shit something out. And so when, you know, you make a piece of content and it's not instantaneous, like, wow, look at, this is going to completely change the game for me and my mixes, you know, in my music business. When you don't put out that kind of content and you're like showing all the intricacies and all the steps to get to something finished, people tend to go like, this is stupid. It's bullshit. You should just do this, you know? And you're like, well, yeah, there's like a million ways to get somewhere. But I like to show the inner workings. I like to show all the little micro steps you have to take, you know, to get to that final product. I think that's really, really important. But yeah. Yeah. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. For real. I have a demo of an EP. What's your opinion being on next process of promotion, finalizing everything mix-wise? I don't know. That's a pretty deep question right there. You know, I'm kind of like just working on a mix right now, you know, talking about like promotion and finalizing and everything. Yeah, there's a lot to it. Yeah. I like the beat. The beat is really cool. It's just like one of those classic sample beats, you know, which I really think is fun. Yeah, they fit the vibe. And you know, the distorted kind of like driven, clipped out vocals, like they work in this context. So the doubles, let's talk about the doubles, and then we're going to get into the hook and doing some mixing. You know, I'm not just going to talk about what I've already done. The doubles here, we have the Pro Q4, and I'm just giving it a little bit of top stuff on the doubles because when you use a doubler, it kind of gets rid of that top stuff sometimes. But 1176, we're compressing a little bit, de-essing, and then the Tube KC1 is going to just give it some tube compression, pretty gentle on this. And then I have the doubler too, which is doing most of the lifting on this. And then I'm sending that to the short EMT 250. So here's the doubles.
Top notch, top shelf, baby, yeah, this is top tier. What do we have here? Maldives, crystal clear. Shift the next level and come on. Always as it appears. Still had some good years. The judge handed me the time. I had to lay it down. Somebody wipe my mama's tears.
Right, so these are out to the side just a little bit, and they're not right on top of the vocal, which kind of just makes them a little bit more interesting to me. And then the doubles with rap vocals, you really don't want to get everything perfectly aligned, you know, or else, especially with this kind of vibe, this isn't like a pop song, you know? So what I do is just basically line them up pretty close, right? Like get everything kind of punctuating the parts and get them to, you know, be pretty aligned, but we're not trying to like get them, you know, auto aligned or vocal aligned. I don't really like that. I also don't like all the artifacts that those processes bring in. So I'm going to go through and just kind of start to finish this up here. So the first thing I'm going to do on these ad-libs is click on these regions and Control X, and we're going to just strip the silence on these. And then I'm also going to go in and do some fades in and out. Okay. So we're just going to go like 5 and 6 or something like that. You know, doesn't matter. But just basically fading on the ins and outs of all these ad-libs, just so we don't have those little, you know, headphone bleed and stuff like that. So I do this on all the tracks, and we'll go through here, Control X, same thing, boom. And then highlight them all, and then we're going to fade in and fade out. Okay. And so now we have all our fades and stuff. That's cool. And we're going to go to the doubles and do the same thing. And, you know, I don't know why artists don't just do this in the production stage. Kind of frustrating because, like, this isn't really mixing. It's kind of bullshit that you have to do this kind of stuff. Like, but you got to do it, man. Like, this is part of the job. So, like, for example, like, what is that? You know, this is just him, like, trying to catch the beat sort of thing. So,
yeah, cost us.
You know, cost this, you know. So what we want to do is just go in and just strip everything. And sometimes this kind of stuff is cool. Like Michael Jackson, you know, did a lot of this stuff. So you might want to save this kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, those little kind of ad lib, as long as they're like rhythmic and they're in the pocket, like it makes sense, but not always. Like sometimes you just want to get rid of that stuff. But for this, I'm just going to leave it for now. Because I do hear kind of like some of his bounce in there. And we're going to really work on the hook vocals because I haven't even brought those in yet. So as we get to the end of the verse here, we have the hook, okay? And the hook is going to be these here. And I haven't even touched these. Like these are all his processing on here. So what he had on here, I kind of bypassed some stuff, right? But I'm going to probably build my own chain of what I want to hear on this. So let's just hear what he's got.
We striking like lightning, feeling mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out the trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. This from ground up, the end results excites me. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Stay on your...
All right, so pretty basic, all right? We're just doing like a call and response kind of hook. What I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to just kind of bring these down in volume, right? So this is a really big part of it. Right here, you have these kind of clipped out, and I just want to give some gain structure here. So same thing, I'm just going to kind of bring it down a couple dB. That's it. And this is going to allow me to have processors after it that can add that gain back in, you know, because when you're clipped, you're clipping the tops, yeah, but you're also just at 0. Like 100%, like you're just full on. And that's your first gain stage is that region clip, or, you know, if you're using Pro Tools, it's going to be the clip of the Pro Tools, etc. So you really want to make sure that everything is giving you some headroom to hit the next process, right? Because if you're at 0 and you're just like completely chopped all the way to 0, any of these plugins are going to add gain. Like you're going to, you know, it's not going to sound good. It's not going to be very musical. You don't have anywhere to go from there. So just give yourself a little headroom. Very important, even if it is clipped. And, you know, I'll just look at these hook vocals. Like these are kind of clipped off, just barely, but not really. Like these aren't bad. But again, I might just go, okay, I'm going to give myself a little bit of headroom on these as well. So just kind of gain these down just a touch. Okay, so we go 1.4. 1.5, sure, whatever. Okay, so now with your fader gain, right, like this gain, you can bring these up or down. It doesn't matter because that's going to be your next gain stage going to the vocal mix bus, right? And then that vocal mix bus is going to go to bus 8, which is going to be your all vox, okay? And then that's going to go to bus 12, which is going to be the master aux. All right, so hopefully that'll make sense. I'm just giving myself some gain structure here so I can do some stuff. What I do like about what he's got going on is this kind of slap delay thing he has. So I like this part.
We striking like lightning, feeling mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close call.
This is like a room verb from chroma verb, which doesn't sound bad, but I think we can beat it, you know? And that's typically why, you know, people hire me to mix their records. It's like, hey, I got this idea. Now, can you chisel that out? Like, my whole focus is just to make the sonic quality cooler, right? So let's just reset this. I'm just going to go here and reset the channel strip. And this is just going to be the hook here. I don't know why the color reset, that kind of pissed me off, but whatever. Okay, so this is, I think, the lead of the hook. And then this is the left and right doubles of the hook. So let's hear that.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty.
All right, so we have M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty, right? He's spelling it out. Pretty classic hip hop kind of thing to do. So on this verses, let's just kind of save this channel strip and we'll use this as a starting point just for this, okay? So I like this because sonically the verses sound good to me, but effects wise, the hook is gonna need the kind of slap delay that he has going on. So I'm just gonna kind of save this and we'll just call it rap vocals, rap vox. We'll just call it Keon because it's Keon Martin is the artist. So Keon Martin, vox lead start. Okay. And then I'm just going to go to vocals here and we'll put it in the vocals. And now I can go here and go to the vocals and go to Keon Martin vox lead start. So now I have that. All I want to do now is give it some of those sends. I don't want too much of the sends. I might want to do the short reverb and I might want to do the widening bus, okay? So the vocal thickener is going to be a little EQ here, the doubler too, and then the S1 imager going even a little bit wider, okay? So now what we have going on is not much, right? So let's just kind of play this.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty.
All right, so that sounds crazy because our routing got reset. So this should be going to bus 7, not stereo out. And you're going to get that delay, and that's why that's doing that. So let's go to the vocal mix bus, and now let's play it.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty.
Okay, so that's cool. It's a great starting point. It's the same vocalist rapping into the same mic, same chain, etc. So sonically, with the compression and EQ, we're in a good spot. But let's add a little sauce at the end here. And for this, I want to do like a slap delay kind of thing, okay? So for me, I mean, Echo Boy is always pretty good for this. Go Echo Boy Jr. And this is a Sound Toys. Oh, I don't have the plug, the iLock plugged in. It doesn't matter. You can just use really any delay. It really doesn't matter. Like, let's go like H delay. And I'll show you can do this with anything. We're just really looking for a slap delay. So we'll go in here and we'll go to like classics, if they have like a classics. And then we'll just go to like a slap or, you know, slap back or basic slap or something like that. Yeah, slap delay insert. Literally what we're doing here. Okay, so this has 72 as your milliseconds. You can also do it as BPM. You know, you can host it. I think 72 is a good starting point, but we might make it slower or faster. Now let's just hear this and make sure we blend our dry wet and see what we get out of it.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it up.
I mean, that sounds pretty damn cool, right? So what we can do now is just mess around with the filters. I think there's maybe like a little bit of movement I want to do on the filters. So for the modulation, we can kind of turn that just up a little bit. And that's just going to modulate the filters a little bit.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty.
So that's pretty cool. Let's also work on the actual setting for the filter frequency.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty.
Cool. So now I have like that kind of slap thing going on. You can blend this in and find the dry wet that you like, but remember you have 3 of these, right? So you want to make sure you don't dial it in solo. Like I just don't recommend you ever do that with any mix because you don't know like what you're doing, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I made the vocal sound so fucking good in solo, and then you put it in the mix and it's like, that sounds like shit. You know? Like the vocal sounded really good before it was like, when I was like sound designing the vocal in solo, but you're making a mix, and a mix has multiple elements, and the whole idea is to make it fit in the mix, right? So that's what we're trying to do here. So now what I also want to do is save this one. I'm going to save this channel strip preset again, and we're going to call this Keon Martin Vox lead. We're going to call this actually Vox hook start. Okay. And then we'll go into vocals again. All right, and now we can go into this left and right here and just bring this vocal channel back in. Okay, and again, this time it didn't reset the output, which is great. But again, it doesn't have the sends, which I think is kind of weird. It should save the sends as well. All right, so we'll do bus 15 and 13. I know I'm doing backwards these buses, but you know, whatever. I don't care. I know what's going on. All right. And then same thing here. We'll just go up here and pop these in. And you'll see like this is going to just make it sound so much better as far as the sonic qualities of what's going on this hook. So let's take this up a little bit, and then we'll go bus 13. Right? Boom. Okay. Now let's hear these in context.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't.
Right? Doesn't it? It's like you hear those vocals and then you hear the secondary like response vocals and you're like, oh, those sound like shit. Right? So we also might want to mess around with giving this some vibe and texture. And I like to do that on vocals like this as well. Just to make them a little bit different, the hook, make them different from the verses. So for this hook one, before the delay, I'm going to hit that. I'm going to try that chakra plugin right here. And on this, I just want to give it some distortion and drive, you know, like just give it a vibe. So let's just mess around with this a little bit. And I am going to solo it out just so I can really hear what the plugin is doing. Because again, I'm not really familiar with the plugin. So I'm just going to mess with it here.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. 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 M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty.
Wow, it definitely made them much more clear, right? And there is just like a little bit of harmonics to it, but not as much as I thought there would be with this. So let's keep trying.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty.
Yeah, I just hear clarity with this plugin on the vocals right now, which I'm not really looking for. So this is probably not the right plugin for this. I'm going to try the harmonics analog saturation, this guy. And we're just going to kind of drive this. I really like this modern setting. And we'll just try this. Just give it some vibe here.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty.
See what I'm saying? So now we're trying to like give this just a little bit of a vibe. So I'm just going to bypass this in and out so you can hear it.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty.
All right, just gain match it because in this context, I don't really want it louder, right? I just want that distortion, that harmonic around it. So now let's hear this in context with those doubles on the side.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out the trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. This from ground up, the end results excites me. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Stay on your...
All right, so that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to give this something a little different. I do want to give this the width here. So this is going to be the width. And listen to what happens. The vocal will get a little bit thicker in the middle.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to... M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close call.
All right, cool. And that's just kind of like when you're mixing, I mean, when I'm mixing, I like to like set something up and then come back to it. I'm like, okay, that's good. That's a good starting point. Is it finished? Is it like amazing? No, it's not there yet, you know, but it's a good starting point. So now I'm going to work on the response here, and same thing. I'll probably just like take what I have here and save this one again. You know, this is hook start. We'll now call it like, you know, just hook vocal response or something like that. So we'll go here, we'll go save channel strip setting as, and we'll go just hook, hook affected. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. All right. And then we'll go down here and we're going to open up that bitch because now we have it there, and it pisses me off that it doesn't have the sends. Absolutely ridiculous. So we'll take the short verb. I like the short verb going. This has the H delay on it as well, so we'll get that space around it again. And let's just play it real.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H.
All right, a little bit better, but you can hear those doubles. They sound kind of trashy, right? Like they sound like so we're gonna hit that as well with the same channel strip, and then we'll tweak. Okay, so that's kind of the key to mixing, I think, is you kind of like you do something, you tweak, you do something, you tweak, like you keep building it, you keep stacking it, you keep stacking it and making it better and better and better. And that's the whole concept. Like mixing is like that. And also I don't want these to be fully like left and right like that. I don't think that ever sounds really that great. Just from a lot of experience with panning in Logic Pro. I'm just going to take these 45, 45 and same thing here. Like I just kind of bring them in. And they always sound just a little bit more musical to me when you bring them in. When they're like hard panned, they don't typically sound like wider. They just sound different and not sometimes even like phasey to me. I don't know why, but it must be like a Logic panning thing. No clue, but I like to just tuck them in a little bit, you know, like don't put them all the way out. Just put them in like 45, you know, 40, sometimes 50. I think that's pretty wide. Let's listen to this.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out the trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I...
All right, see, now we have sort of a starting point, and I think of this as like kind of production as well. You know, mixing in 2026 because that's where we're going. It's production as well. Like you're doing production stuff. So this might give you an idea that you want to present to the artist. They might have something completely different in mind, and that's okay. But I want people to hire me because I have my kind of opinion on where this can be cooler, better, more interesting, more unique, capture the audience a little bit more, etc. So I might mess around with a different effect or push it a little bit harder and present it to the client. And then the client can tell me, back off, go back to, make it normal again. But I do want to have that kind of production say. You know, I want to say, hey, look, this is why you hired me. You know, like I'm going to do something like this. And what do you think of that? Is that cool? Is that edgy? Is it, you know, is it working for you? And like, oh, dude, I never thought about that. That sounds so sick. I want to keep that. Or, nah, man, go back to how I had my demo. And it's way easier to just go back to the demo. No problem. But, you know, I want to push it a little bit. Anyway, let's take a second and go through some comments here. Yo, that's what's up. Yeah, I tried to do as many lives as I can. I was kind of out of town for a little bit, so I just got back this week, like on Tuesday. So back at it, baby. I'm going to try to do more. What do you got? Bricasti Studio? Yeah. Bricasti's dope. I think sometimes it's just too pretty. You know, Bricasti to me is like something I would use in like pop or like hip hop that's like going to be like chart top 40 kind of hip hop, you know? But for this doesn't. Like Bricasti is a little too beautiful, you know? Bricastis are so lush and just really beautiful reverbs. I want something a little bit dirtier. That's why I'm using these, like, you know, the Wendy Carlos plate is a 140, and then the 250, the EMTs. They're a little bit dirtier, a little bit more vibey. Nice. Yeah, iLok is a pain in the ass. I can't believe we're still using iLok, honestly. It's kind of barbaric. It's dated as fuck. But, you know, people keep stealing plugins, so. Yo, hey, good to see you. Good to have you. All right, so let's move on. So I'm just really trying to dial this in and make this cooler. Like, how do I make this cooler? That's kind of where I'm at right now. For this right here, I want to make sure I do have this strip silence here. As you can see, there's like a lot of in between. So I can do that kind of stuff as I'm working. I try not to, you know, I try to just like be creative and not use this part of my brain when I'm mixing. But every once in a while, if I just see something that needs to be done really quick, I'll do that. So just go like boom, go here, Control X, you know, and get it done. It's not hard. It doesn't like make me think too much. So go boop, boop, get it done. And you can put fades on those as well, but I'm just doing that for housekeeping. Same thing here, right? Like you could just Control X and the strip silence on everything, you know, and we'll go like that, right? Boom. Control X, boom, Control X. Pretty fun, right? Control X, man, it's super sick. You see what I did? A strip silence, bro. So I'll have to do that on this flown part as well, but I think it's just flown, so I could just like literally copy and paste it over. But anyway, so let's get back to this. So what I think in my head, what I'm hearing is like the response, either the call or the response is going to be more gritty and distorted and kind of vibey. So I think it's going to be the response in my head.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly.
Oops, sorry, I had my microphone unmuted. That probably sounded like shit. But anyway, so these hooks here, this is the hook response. So I'm just going to call this response. Center, right? And then we're going to go response left, and go boom, boom, response right. Okay. And now just on these, what we're going to do is give them their own bus, just so I can make that bus kind of like, you know, do an overall kind of idea, you know, because I don't want to get super meta on something if it's not going to work. So I go back to the mixer, and instead of bus 7, we'll go to bus 9, right? And we'll call these the response vocal bus or whatever. So response vox. And then that's going to now go to bus 7 as well. So that's bus 7 is going to be the vox mix bus, okay? So just so we're all clear and we're on the same page. You feel me? You smell me? All right, let me get that going. Bang. All right. I don't know what's going on here. It's not working. Bastard. Son of a bitch. All right, there we go. Now, on the response Vox bus, we right-click on it and create track, not VCA. I don't know why. Sorry, I'm operating drunk or something, man. I don't know what's going on here. All right, so now we got the response Vox. This is like the bus that these guys are coming in. Okay, so all these right here. So on this bus, we want to do something creative. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm thinking kind of driven, distorted, you know, filtered, blah, 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 blah. Who knows? There's all sorts of stuff we can do on this that would be fun. But to start, let's try... Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? You guys give me a recommendation. I think I almost have every plugin you can possibly want, you know? But yeah, I just want to like try something right now. So I don't want to go too crazy. If I could just find something that's going to chunk it out, that's going to be the best way to do it. So I might actually even use this. Yeah. We'll use the Mu thing from Pulsar. The vocal studio thing. So this might have like a preset in here that's going to give me what I'm thinking. All right, here we go. Clean lead, phone echo. Let's try it. And this high stuff is not what I'm looking for, but let's just try some stuff.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out the trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out the trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. This from ground up, the end results excites me. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Stay on your ground, success follows more than likely. On my second.
Right, so this is kind of a cool starting point. It maybe not what I have in mind, but it's getting me somewhere, right? And I think that's kind of the key to plugins, like why I talk about plugins, why I like them so much. It's like, oh, that's giving me an idea. And then you know the plugins, how you would use like your normal plugins you always use, like whether that's Waves or UAD or whatever your go-to stuff is, you know how you would freak that to get to what I'm doing here with this one plugin. But sometimes you just want an idea and you're like, oh, I want to get somewhere. So I'm just going to kind of flip through some stuff here.
M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. Heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T, heavy blessings I won't take lightly. Heavy blessings I won't take lightly. Heavy blessings I won't take lightly. Heavy blessings I won't take lightly.
Yeah, that's kind of a vibe right here, right? So I just don't like that it wants to boost the high end on every fucking vocal. I get it though. It's like, it's probably listening to, you know, they probably made these presets off of all of these vocals that were cut pretty decently and just needed some sparkle, right? But this isn't the curve that I'm looking for. But this sound is really cool with the short plate.
Heavy blessings I won't take lightly. Heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T, heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G, heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T, heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T, heavy blessings I won't take lightly.
You see what I'm saying? So like this is giving me an idea, which that's kind of the key. That's the key to what I'm trying to do here. So gritty, cool. Yeah, let's go to germanium and let's drive it a little bit.
Heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G, heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I, heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G.
So I do feel like there's like overlapping like effects that are giving this weird splashy something kind of weird, and it's probably because these already have the H delay on them and stuff. So I just want to bypass the H delays here and just hear this, because this has like a kind of slap delay thing going on. I think no, it has the short plate, which sounds kind of like a slap here.
Heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T, heavy blessings I won't take lightly.
All right, cool. And then maybe on the actual response vocals, we'll drag over the H delay and we'll blend in some of this. I'm going to take the modulation down and I'm going to maybe kind of balance between these, the reverb and the H delay.
Heavy blessings I won't take lightly. Heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G, heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I, heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I, heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H, heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G, heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G, heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G-H-T.
All right, it also has this kind of special effect widener on it, and it has it like cranked up. So let's kind of bring that down and see what that's doing.
Heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I, heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G, heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out of trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H, heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G.
Right, this is getting somewhere. Like, it's starting to sound pretty cool. Like, I'm like, oh, this is dope. Like, it's a vibe, you know? So this is maybe something I want to keep. Definitely, like, still a little bit weary about some of it going on, right? Like, the special effects. Like, do I really like that? Do I really like the reverb on this? You know, that kind of thing. That's where my head's at. This is also going to the EMT 250. So on the actual bus, like where both of these, like all three of these are ending up, I think maybe that would be a good place to send to the short and the long reverb. So for example, like I'll take the altiverb up a little bit and we'll take the 250 up a little bit on the overall of just the response. And then we'll just kind of kill any effects that we have here and see if we can get this sounding a little bit more natural, you know, not so weird.
Heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G-H-T, heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G-H, heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G, heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out of trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. This from ground up, the end results excites me. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Stay on your ground, success follows more than likely. On my second way, heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out of trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H-T.
All right, so it's pretty aggressive. There's a lot going on. So we'll just kind of back off some things, right? Compression, back off the drive a little bit here, you know, just doing my thing, you know? And then maybe on the delay, we can bring that up and make it a little wetter.
Heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. Heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out of trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G.
Dope. Now let's just kind of balance the volume, right? Because I think it's a little loud.
Heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out of trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. This from ground up, the end results excites me. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Stay on your ground, success follows more than likely. On my second way, and nevertheless, yeah, I'm feeling mighty. On the swivel, precautions, horsepower, pull up or something.
Dope. So it's kind of, you know, now we have like definitive, here's the verse, here's the hook, and I'm overdoing it, obviously, but I have to like give myself something, right? And you don't need to sit here and work on that for an hour and a half. You need to just like have an idea, throw it down, and then get back to the overall perspective of the track. And I think it's really easy to lose perspective of your mix, of your production, your songwriting, etc. when you start to, you know, get really micro with stuff. It's like, there's no need to get super micro with stuff when you're doing this sort of thing. Like when you're mixing, you want to like get the big picture kind of thing, like big picture, you know, panning, balances, compression, EQ, like get everything like sounding pretty damn good together. And then you can do all the special effects sauce stuff that I'm doing. I'm just kind of like doing that because I want to like throw something at it and go, is this going to be cool? Or is this like totally crazy and like overdoing it? I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. But now I'm just going to kind of listen and vibe out from the verse to the chorus. And then I'm going to kind of tweak the master bus a little bit and see where we can go with that.
Be wasted, know the rules of this game. Like some get hanged, and they to try to cross me. Face that demise, man, get slain nicely, precisely, striking like lightning, feeling mighty. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings, I won't take it lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out the trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. This from ground up, the end results excites me. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Stay on your ground, success follows more than likely. On my second way, and nevertheless, yeah, I'm feeling mighty. On the swivel, precautions, horsepower, pull up at something nauseous. Trailblaze, it's the carcass, headed for the back office. Keeping things and making backup offers. The life of a boss, face plenty losses. Top tier, what do we have here, Mal? Swivel precautions, horsepower, pull up at something nauseous. Trailblaze, it's the carcass, headed for the back office. Keeping things and making backup offers. The life of a boss, face plenty losses. Procrastination, yeah.
It almost sounds like a new artist comes on the track right there for verse 2. It's like, oh, there's a new rapper here, you know. It's almost like a different vocal. So I might want to treat it a little bit different and treat it a little bit more unique. But yeah, like, I don't know, this is coming together. What do you guys think? You guys have any questions at all? Like, I can kind of bypass everything and show you where I started. That might help. Let's see. I don't actually have a reference bounce from the artist, which is something that I usually get, but he sent me the full Logic session. So I kind of like heard already where he was at. And so I just kind of went from there. But yeah, the track sounded insane when I opened it up. Just so you know, let's see if we can actually open up an older version of it so you can really see what's going on here. I think it'll be pretty shocking for some of you guys to see kind of where, you know, where this kind of started and like what I was given by the client. That's always fun to see, right? Like you're like, well, what was the initial session like? Here you go. Everything was completely distorted and completely driven. So if your speakers are up right now, you might want to bring them down. And I'll try to just like turn the stereo down.
Top notch, top shit, baby, this is top tier. What do we have here now? These ship the next level and switch gears. Walk the valley of shadow depth, it's no fear. Always a cut, but striker like me, feeling nice. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings, I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Those calls made it out the trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. This was ground up, the end results in sights.
So this was the original session. This is how he had it when he sent it to me. Just so we're like really clear on where it was at. And this is probably why I didn't bounce a reference track. Like, cause it's just completely distorted and clipped out. So like even just, if I went to the stereo and I'll mute it, just watch how much over is going on. I guess I can't do that without seeing it. So let's see if we could just mute the master. Nope. All right. So here, I'm just going to play it real quick. It might be loud. Sorry, guys.
Top notch, top shit, baby. It is a top tier. What do we have here, Mal?
Right. We're like 13 plus dB distorted over 0. And that's kind of how he shipped it to me. So just so you guys know what I'm starting with and where I'm ending up, that's where I started. That's what the session was when I first opened it. And now we're, you know, I think in a pretty good place. I think in a much better place. Let's put it that way, right? It's just, it feels like a lot of the times when you're mixing, you know, people don't really appreciate a great mix and a great mixing engineer. But man, if you really understood the difference between like what you get and what ends up going out into the world, you'd be blown away a lot of the times. I think like 80 to 90% of the time you'd be like, wow, you fucking pulled a miracle out of your ass, you know? So here's where we're at now.
Top notch, top shelf, baby, this is top tier. What do we have here? Maldives, crystal clear. Shift the next level and switch gears. Walk the valley of shadow depth, it's no fear. Always a cuts, homicide, yeah, as it appears. Product of my environment, still had some good years. The judge handed me the time, I had to lay it down, somebody wipe my mama's tears. Listen, temporary on ice, the comeback is twice as nice. Not consistent, it takes grind and sacrifice. Listen, the currency is good advice. Hey, listen to speculation. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Wake up to heavy blessings I won't take lightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. Close calls made it out the trenches, yeah, slightly. M-I-G-H-T-Y, mighty. This from ground up, the end results excites me. M-I-G-H-T-Y,
All right. So hopefully you can, you kind of understand like where we're going with this, right? I only have an hour to do this live today, so I have to get out of here. But if you guys have any last questions or anything, just let me know. I can answer them in the chat here. And, you know, it could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about this song specifically. It can be about anything, mixing, mastering, production. Rather not talk about marketing and stuff on this live stream just because it's not really a marketing live stream. But yeah, so it's an interesting thing when you get that kind of session from someone and you press play and you're like, oh God, what the hell? You know what I mean? It's pretty shocking. Like, holy shit. But yeah, I mean, that's the name of the game. You know what I'm saying? Is taking something that artists want to like throw. They're just like throwing paint at the wall and they're like trying to make something that they think is cool. And they're writing a song and then they're like, hey, can you mix this? And what they mean by can you mix this? They're like, can you just make this, like fix it, you know, produce on it, whatever you got to do to make this dope so I can actually release it and feel confident about it. And that's really why you hire mixing engineers or producers. Like, I don't know. I can't tell you how many artists need producers, like bands, artists, they're all trying to produce themselves and they're getting nowhere. Like they're like, why my music's not going anywhere? Why doesn't anyone like my songs? It's like, you need someone that has some experience that can point you in the right direction. You know, it's sometimes just that. It's like your songs aren't connecting with people. So find someone that can help you connect the music. If that's what you want. If you just want to make music for yourself and, you know, you're reading all the Rick Rubin books and you're sitting there meditating and saying, oh, I want to make music for myself. And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, if you want to connect with people, you got to kind of make songs that connect with people. I think a lot of artists, especially rap artists, they don't tell stories enough and they write about the process too much. So they're in the studio writing songs about being in the studio writing songs. Not interesting to most people, right? So I think this is a cool song because he's like talking about, you know, prison and like he's talking about something, you know, he's talking about like getting over hurdles and life struggles and, you know, going to prison and having to, you know, be broke and be fucked up and have people look down on you and, you know, still staying mighty and stuff. Like that's a cool concept for a song. If he was just rapping about writing music and trying to make it in music, that's really boring. Like, I really don't think that people connect to that. I don't think anybody connects to it besides other artists that are doing the same thing. And that's super niche. You're rapping and writing songs for a very, very niche market. So you got to be really careful. You can't get so myopic about what you're doing that you're like, I just want to write songs for me and I'm just making my music that I like. When really you're not. You're just writing songs about writing songs and how hard it is to write songs. That's just not interesting. Like, I don't know. Maybe it's not the right career choice for you if that's all you can write about. If all you got going on and all the experiences you have right now as a songwriter, whether you're a rapper or a singer-songwriter or a rock band, if all you can write about is the process of being in a band or being a rapper, you got to go live a little bit, man. You got to go find some things to write about. Go get your heart broken. I don't know, like figure something out because it's just not interesting to a lot of people. So anyway, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to get out of here. The vocal plugin inside chain. Yeah, not understanding what you're asking there. I'll try to read. Oh, Pulsar. Yeah. Yeah. The Pulsar plugin is the vocal studio. That's what I was using. Really cool. I've been messing with it quite a bit lately just because it gets ideas quick. And I really like this company. Pulsar is dope. They're out of France. I think it's a very, very small team. Very small plugin company that makes really good stuff. And they model a lot of analog gear, you know, like the variable mune stuff that I really like. But yeah, I use all sorts of plugins, man. This one just calls for a lot of the classics. You know, for example, the drum mix bus, I'm using the Jason Joshua NLS buses and then the drum master bus with the R bass and the, you know, Shadow Hills and all that. Just because that's what this track calls for. I did a little modification though, like I hit it with some orange clip in the multi mode, you know, in the bands, and then I also hit it with the L4 Ultra Maximizer, with some clipping on that as well and some upward compression. Just kind of gives a little bit more grit to the drums. And then, yeah, Master Bus still has a little ways to go. I just have like some compression, EQ, and the God Particle on it. But yeah, that'll evolve. This Master Bus will evolve as I finish this record. But right now it's in a pretty good spot. I'd call this like 70% there. Last 30% is just like really tweaking, making sure everything's good, doing some automation, hitting the Master Bus, tweaking the mix buses, you know, the subgroups and everything else. But yeah, that's the whole vibe, man. Oh, you came too late, man. You came way too late. Yeah, country is killing it because the storytelling. I totally agree with that. 1000%. What else you got? What else you got? Are those verses pre-processed in any way when you got them? No, they're completely clipped out. Sorry, you might have come in a little late. Definitely rewatch this stream. You'll totally understand a lot more about it. In optics, you're not doing too much compression on those vocals. No, not too much compression. The compression is really for these vocals, just trying to turn them down and keep them solid, you know, and give them a vibe and a tone instead of just distorted from like just distortion from clipping them because you clipped the preamp or the microphone. It's not always that great. You know? So I got new videos coming, you guys. Pay attention. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Super important. Like all I do is just try to bring you guys cool shit. So that's it. I hope you guys have a good night and happy Friday. Peace.